Oh, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, you champion, you. Oh my goodness, I'm so subdued. I don't even know what to say except that so many of your fans, we've just waited for this moment. Like, so many of us believed, and absolutely, like, I feel like I always knew that you always go back to number one in the world and continue to be the greatest player out there. And my goodness, what a day it was yesterday. Oh my God, that match was, it was just great. It was great, especially the ending. And I guess before I go on too, let me mention this video because I want to make sure I put a link to this cute little picture that Wimbledon had uploaded on Twitter. And it's of you at the ceremony, and you are holding your trophy. And then on the other side is you can see a big screen monitor, and there's just a picture of one of your daughters, and it's just really so cute. So I hope that they actually send you that picture, because that probably would be something really nice for your family to have. It's just such a really cute picture. So I'm gonna I just wanted to put that in a video just so I can remember to post it. But yeah, I'm just so freaking speechless. I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm so happy. Roger, like, all the time I always say how much you deserve, all of this. And, and here you are. You pulled it off, and it's just amazing. It's amazing, and I'm so happy for you. Yeah, I can't even begin to say how happy I am just for you. You just totally deserve this. Okay, so yeah, I have some more just menial talk or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit flat today. I don't know. A little bit flat. Not a lot of tennis talk going on, but I just kind of feel like there are things that I do want to talk about, but I kind of feel like I want to do that like next week or in the next week and a half or something like that. Right before the Olympics, right before you go into the Olympics. And it's just basically talking about being number one in the world and setting some different goals and things for yourself, and keeping yourself motivated and keeping yourself ahead of the pack, I feel like Djokovic, the other day, I thought he gave a really great post-match conference. He seemed like a player who's really sort of in control, who really is getting a feel for what his abilities are. And, I feel like he's going to go home and, there'll be some thinking going on, but he's definitely, I just feel like he's going to be very motivated. And it's not a negative thing. It's kind of like a freaking exciting thing, and you can totally match that and just continue to make tennis so freaking interesting. Just keep it so unbelievably interesting. I love the way he processed that loss. He can be passive aggressive sometimes. It's funny, and I mean, like, in a good way, not the annoying kind of passive aggressive. So I just mean that he is able to, if he's angry, he's able to sort of put it into a smiling kind of sarcasm that's sort of funny. And I'm pretty sure he was quite angry or whatever, but he held a very good face, and he really sucked it up and took responsibility for where he felt he dropped the ball in that match, and where he feels he needs to go. So I feel like in saying all of this, that he is definitely going to be one person is going to definitely help you to keep your tennis at its highest level and keep your tennis very interesting and just keep the whole game interesting. Though I think you are I think you are the best player or whatever. But it's going to be interesting, and I really like the way he processed that loss, and so, you know, good on him for that or whatever. But anyway, back to you. You know, I'm sorry. Yeah, just congratulations. My God, it's like, how did that feel? You know what I mean? Like, #1 in the world. It was like a triple. It's not like a triple whammy. It was like just a triple. God, I don't know. Like, triple prize. You know, it's like 7th Wimbledon Grand Slam title, tying Pete Sampras and the other tennis player. I can't remember. And 17th Grand Slam win, and also #1 in world. I mean, all of that in one single match. And can I tell you, like, what the heck did it feel like to be in the last couple of games of that match and have all those people roaring around you and still keep your focus, Roger? And I have to tell you, like, this is one of the times, you know, where I just really admire you, and almost even, you know, I can't say that I wish I were in your shoes, so to speak, but I definitely would love to experience that. Like, if my life were structured a different way and I was an athlete, and I just love that. You know what I mean? I just love to be performing on a world level with trillions of people roaring around me. You know, you know how it is, kind of like when you're in Madison Square Garden in New York City, and I know you've played tennis there, but it's electric when you have all these people in one stadium, these thousands and thousands of people, and they're all cheering. Like, the energy in there is just, it's just lovely. It's something that definitely everyone should definitely experience at least once in life. So, you know, I know you were kind of on the other side of the cheering, but still, that crowd has so much respect for you, and they love you so much, regardless. And I feel like you got just as much respect as Murray, you know, more than probably any other player would have, who would have been on that court other than you. So it's really wonderful, the relationship that you've been able to foster with the Wimbledon community, with the Wimbledon tennis goers, with the British and people of the UK who frequent that tournament. So that was really good. And speaking of which, let me just go off into some more idle chat. I've been meaning to say, I think your sneakers are so cute. I've been meaning to, like, say that for the longest time. And first of all, really, your choice in outfits and things like that are always really, really nice. Yeah, and I think, you know, it's one up for the male race, you know, because so many of them, I don't really know so much around the world. You know, I have traveled around the world a bit. I've been to Asia, I've been to Europe. But, I mean, I still, you know, I don't know, you know, it's like men and dressing up are sometimes total strangers. Dressing up and men, completely mutually exclusive. So I just feel like one up for you for always kind of dressing, you know, really kind of stylishly. You know, I really appreciate that. And I mean that just as a straightforward compliment, you know, just as a, you know, compliment, not, you know. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. And I guess while I'm speaking on it, I meant to say, too, that I thought that Mirka's jacket, her leather jacket, Mirka, I thought your leather jacket you were wearing at the Hala final was so hot. It was, like, collarless, and it had a lot of detail on it, and it was like, it was like calfskin leather or something like that, or just not neutral leather, but it was really nice. I thought it was really, really cute. I love it when you guys dress up, you know. I love it, or when you guys are, like, stylish and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, so that's the idle chat. But yeah, your sneakers are so cute, Roger. For I personally, as a girl, probably would never wear them. I think they probably are cuter on a guy or whatever. But they were really cute, and I just been meaning to say that your sneakers are cute. Anyway, I'm just rambling on. I really don't have so much to say. It's so weird. I know I do. I honestly do have a lot that I want to say about being number one in the world and management plan that I talk about way back in the many videos I made long ago. But I want to save that for like a week and a half from now or something. And BTW, which means by the way, Michael Gervais. I contacted him separately from my recommendation with, to you, or whatever. I just separately. I like to follow people and I like to be in contact with people a lot on Facebook who I admire their work and I want to keep abreast of their work. So strangely enough, as you won your 7th Wimbledon title, 17th Grand Slam, and became number one in the world, Michael Gervais accepted my friend request, and I feel that that's a sign, and I hope that, you're using this time to not only just appreciate the fact that you really engaged your mental resolve throughout these entire matches, and again, it was such a huge difference from Roland Garros, and you were able to see what, I feel for yourself, what you were able to do when you really gave yourself a chance. I just, even though you were able to do so well, I really feel like it's still, I feel like if you haven't, I really would love and appeal again to you to contact Michael Gervais, and I think it's pinnacle-pro.com. And you can look in my older videos, of course, and find out that information. But consider that a sign for me, I think it'd be great for you to just continue to take clinics and work, on your mental capacity and just the psychology of winning, I guess you could say, as Dennis Waitley's book is named, like the psychology of winning, like, even though you did really well with it, it still really helps to get like in some sort of workshop, and an athlete like you on your level, I'm sure you could just, any professional sports psychologist would fly in from anywhere to work with you, I'm sure. So that's the benefit of being number one in the world in tennis, huh? So, I honestly, I don't know why. I think, yesterday and today was just like a really weird day for me with moving and stuff. As you can kind of see, this room is empty. A lot of work involved, so I think I'm really kind of flat. Don't really have much to say except I'm ridiculously happy for you. I'm just ridiculously happy for you. And, I definitely, I guess I have a note in here that I wanted to talk more about acupuncture for your back or whatever. And the reason, there's a reason why I feel like you're probably a little more the type of person like, well, I could totally be wrong, but it just seems like the issues with your back have been so ongoing, and it just leads me to sort of think in some way that maybe you just kind of deal with it the way people deal with normal aches and pains, and you don't get too much done for it or whatever. Whenever it comes up, you just kind of grin and bear it, or deal with it in whatever, kind of home remedy it or whatever. But I definitely, maybe I'll save this other comment for the other video, but I just wanted to talk a little bit more about acupuncture. As a matter of fact, I'll save that for the next video. Yeah, and that was, again, just really a good match. Just congratulations. I'm probably gonna go because I honestly, for whatever reason, don't have much to say. I think it's just because I'm kind of tired from yesterday and today, all the work that I've had to do. But I loved at the end of the match where, you were serving, like, your serves were just sick. oh my God. And it reminded me of the first time, the times where I first started getting interested in tennis ages ago. There was a match, and it actually happened to be a Wimbledon match. And I believe it was Pete Sampras. I know it was Pete Sampras for sure, but he was playing someone named Krajicek. I believe it's Richard Krajicek. I think I could totally be wrong on the name. But all I remember in that match was the serves were, for me, I just remember the sound of the serves, like that monstrous, powerful impact. And that's what brought, you serving close to match point or whatever, the sound that it was making, it brought that match to my mind. So that was really interesting. That was a good tennis match for me. I like I said, that was like a really first time I was getting into tennis. And actually as a kid, it's funny because as much I really love Wimbledon now, I loathe it as a kid. It used to come on HBO every June, Wimbledon. And that meant not being able to watch any movies. It was like summertime as a kid, and that meant no movies, no cartoons or whatever. It was kind of like this boring, for me, like as a kid, it was like this boring Wimbledon match that was silent. People were hitting balls back to each other, but it was just like one serve, 1, 2, and that was it kind of thing. It was just kind of like, and then serve again, 1, 2, and that was it. And then kind of serve again, 1, 2. It was just boring. I remember everything was just white and green, and it was just monotony for me. And I just found it so intolerable, at least for 3 or 4 summers. It was like, oh God, every June, like, oh, here's this Wimbledon match. And, and then I got to know the name Wimbledon because I knew every June that HBO was going to show all day, there weren't going to be any movies, there weren't going to be anything except for tennis, Wimbledon all day. And it was so boring back then, as a kid. But, actually, I made another video where I talked in depth about tennis and how I came to really like tennis and how I started watching it. And then I have that same story I just told you in that video, except it's probably better told than it is now. But, so you got your serve. It was crazy. I loved it. I love the sound, and I'm just glad you won. I'm so glad. Don't pay any attention to me. I am truly excited, but I think I'm just kind of fried right now. I'm really kind of tired. So congratulations. I suppose you guys are back on your way home to Switzerland, and that must be fun, like with your mom, dad, and Mirka and the girls. That must be very fun. So I hope you have a lot of fun these couple of weeks celebrating and just really enjoying everything. Again, you totally deserve it. And, I am still really quite pissed about that Andy Murray situation, like hitting that ball toward your head. I think that is I understand it's a legitimate play, and I really can't stand when people are saying, oh, no, that's okay, it's a legitimate play. Like, it kind of really makes me furious because, ESPN showed, like, that ball grazed the back of your head. Like, if you had not moved, God forbid, like, I just look at you like, you know what, this is a man who has young children. This is a man who has a wife. And, his parents are sitting in the stand. Like, how dare you? Like, what if something happened? God forbid something happened to this man. Like, this is not just about tennis. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care about legitimate plays. Like, serving the body or hitting to the body kind of, I could process that a little bit better. But sending some, like, I don't know, 75-mile-an-hour ball towards somebody's head. Like, seriously, I'm furious. I'm sorry. Like, I just find it so disgusting. And Judy Murray, You know, I know, like, if somebody hit her son, that freaking blockhead, Andy Murray, I'm sorry, Judy, and I'm sorry, UK, you know, just son, like, pissed me off, seriously. You know, if anyone hit him in the head like that, Judy Murray would be down so fast on that court, kicking ass left and right, I'm pretty damn sure. So, you know, I don't know. Obviously, it's something that exists in tennis, but I just found that just so disagreeable. I mean, really disagreeable. And I mean to the point where I can't be responsible for my actions, you know. I just really, I don't know if you know, like, Greg Couch or whatever. He, like, writes for Fox News, and I was just like, I'm sorry, but Andy Murray is a straight... And I was like, and you let him know that Old World Girl said that. And he said, oh, I will. You know, and it's not to say, oh, I talked to Greg Couch. Oh, you know, please. It's really not that big of a deal. But I'm just saying, like, someone needs to let him know. That was a straight up bitch move. I'm sorry. Excuse me. But no. You know, seriously. That's just enough. You know, I get tennis. I get the competitiveness. I get the fact... You know, I totally get that, but when you do something like that, like to somebody's head, God forbid something went wrong. I mean, you know, just God forbid. Thank goodness nothing happened, and I'm sorry I can't let go of that, but maybe I just need to vent on that as well, you know, and just the same way, you know, like Andy Murray, he has a mother and a girlfriend and stuff like that. And I'm sure as hell, you know, to anybody who disagrees, like his girlfriend and Judy Murray would not freaking appreciate that had it been Roger Federer serving in 120 mile an hour at Andy Murray's head. Like, I'm sure they would not have appreciated that, tennis or not, winning the point or not, you know. I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox right now, but I'm really freaking pissed about that. Like, I think I'm just really annoyed because no one says anything about it, you know. And I'm a little bit annoyed also too because I notice how in tennis behavior is just not it's the judgment of behavior and the judgment of bad behavior is not at all consistently judged across the board. And it's just tiring. It's really tiring, you know. And you hear people like Mary Carrillo who gets on her freaking soapbox, you know, during the match and is, you know, just sitting up here complaining. Nobody wants to hear her mouth, you know, complaining about the behavior of tennis players and this and that. And oh, there was the one year where she was just on and on and on about Serena, you know, and then on and on and on about you the very next day at the U.S. Open, you know. I mean, and it was just so condescending and righteous, and it was just like, Mary, shut up, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, she was on and 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 on in the middle of play, you know what I mean? Like, the players were playing with, you know, the viewers are sitting there trying to watch something. And, yeah, I think some of my frustration has really come out about, you know, just the inconsistency. If you're going to judge bad behavior, judge it across the board. And I'm not saying this about Andy Murray, but I'm just saying I think that Andy Murray kind of triggered that for me, too. That I've noticed in other areas that when the women smash their rackets or whatever, it's a problem. Or if a woman gets loud, it's a problem. And then if the men do it, it's not so much of a problem. And then that time at the Madison Square Garden where Andy Roddick hurled that, you know, hurled his tennis racket. Actually, he's playing against you. Was that this year? A couple months back? Was that this year? Anyway, he hurled that. It went over toward your side, you know, close to you, and it almost hit this ball girl. I was like, really, dude? Really? You're a total douche. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But you know what? Don't judge me. You know what? Nobody can judge me if they can't judge the bad actions of other people. So I'm going to say bitch and I'm going to say douche. Sorry. So, you know, anytime you're really putting people in danger and not saying, excuse me, or I apologize, like, screw you, man. Screw you and screw these stupid, you know, Andy Roddick always gets a pass. He has always gotten a pass for his behavior in the media. I mean, Pat McEnroe, all of them, you know. Pat, holler at me, you know, seriously. You have a problem with that. Because I've seen it. And then if Serena breathes the wrong way, it's kind of like, you know. And I'm not saying that Serena's actions have been right or whatever. Yeah, whatever. I just can't even deal with all of this right now. But listen, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like feed all this into your video. But congratulations. I imagine now, like, there are some issues on the tour I think should be dealt with. I purposely held this other issue back as well. I guess I should mention it since all the other whatever came out. But Gilles Simon, you know, I don't know who he thinks he is, like the hero of the men's locker room or whatever. It was the way he came out with saying that the women shouldn't be getting paid as much as the men, that their salaries should be decreased. I just think I was out of line, you know, especially for Gilles Simon, who hasn't won anything, you know. And I actually liked Gilles Simon up until then, you know, like really, I have no words for him. And I understand where he's coming from, and I understand that, but it's just the way that he went about it. I could see if he came out and said, listen, you know, we would like, you know, more money, ATP, you know, from the ATP, we would like more money. We would like to be paid more, you know, because the women, I mean, you don't try to decrease the women's salary. First of all, people like Sharapova, people like Serena Williams, you know, Kim Clijsters-Azarenka, like, those people pull in ratings, you know. I've never run home to say, ooh, let me run home with Gilles Simon matches on. No, seriously? No, you know. And then somebody was like, oh, well, Gilles Simon is 13 in the world, and you need to compare him to the 13th player in the world on the female side, Kirilenko, or whatever. Kirilenko's tennis isn't bad. I've watched her match before. I don't sit down and watch them all the time, no. So I'm not going to try to make it seem like the argument is that men shouldn't get an increase in pay, because right now, isn't it that especially the Grand Slams, which I can't understand why Gilles Simon I can't fully understand why Gilles Simon would be so concerned with the prize money at Grand Slams, since he hasn't won anything. I'm not trying to diss, but I'm just saying the way he came out his face, you know, trashing women who grind just as hard on tour and harder, you know, who have more accolades than him, who fought their way, who get on tour and travel to each city just the way he does, and pay the same airfare, pay the same discomfort in flying, sometimes coach, you know, or whatever, you know, paying for their own coaches. When I said fly coach, I meant coach class, obviously. I know you probably knew that, but paying for coaches, paying for medical bills, paying for helping out your family members, paying for the travel expenses, and I imagine there's an entrance fee for each slam and each. There's some sort of dues. Like, I can't imagine that, you know, the dues. I imagine that the dues or whatever the cost is to even enter yourself into a Grand Slam, even if you qualify. I'm sure that costs some money to get in there. I imagine that the price is the same between the men and the women. So where I feel Gilles Simon was wrong is that he was cowardly by taking this out on the women instead of being a man and stepping to the ATP and saying, listen, we want to be paid more. You know, the revenue that you are getting is, it only accounts, the revenue that you are paying out over the entire ATP, you know, the guys, the men's tour, is only 13% of the entire profit. Be a man. That's all I'm saying. Just be a man, Gilles Simon. You don't go and don't try to take stuff from Maria Sharapova and Serena Williams and Venus Williams and Azarenka and all these women who actually are very interesting in tennis. And I will say this to you, you know, I am a woman, but at the same time, a lot of the sports, you know, I mean, given the natural physical dynamic of men, you know, it tends to be that the sports tend to dynamically have a little more complexity to them, a little more, I don't know if a little more intensity, but complexity to them. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of a natural given. And, you know, it's just kind of like, at the same time, in the one spectrum, like I've always, is the one place I've found that women's sport is just has that a very still interesting dynamic and its own unique complexity that still can captivate someone. And I found that in women's tennis. I feel like women's tennis is really on par in a lot of ways, and I know a lot of people just threw their hands up. But a lot of you guys, lower ranked guys or whatever, and I'm sorry, but if you want to talk about money, you got to talk about the revenue you pull in. Like Gilles Simon, do you think you pull in the revenue that Maria Sharapova or Serena Williams pulls in, like TV wise? You think anybody wants to run home and say, let me sit down and spend 3 hours of my life watching a Gilles Simon match? Only time I'm going to see Gilles Simon is if he's consequently playing against Federer or even Nadal. Unless against Nadal, it's got to be like an important match for Federer for me to sit down and want to watch it, or Djokovic, It's got to be, if you're not playing against Federer, most likely I'm not even watching you at all, and I feel like if none of you people, if the women and men's tennis tour wasn't together, because you do both need each other, in my point of view, you need each other, because if that mixture was not there, the guys under the top 10, you wouldn't even pull in TV ratings. I'm sure tennis is interesting. You guys are really talented. Like, there's some damn talented people out there. So I don't want men's tennis thinking that I'm trashing them. But I'm just trying to prove a little bit of a point here. Like, don't write off women's tennis, like it's nothing, I mean, if it weren't for the two being together, in my point of view, you would get canceled a lot. Like, you definitely wouldn't have secured ESPN the way you would have, because you're not the NBA, and that's another thing too. Like, stop, like, you can't compare yourself to the NBA, NBA has like 10 Roger Federers in it, 10 Roger Federers, and then after that, a good 20 Nadals, and after that, a good 30 Djokovic's. It's not Gilles Simon. You're not Michael Jordan. You're not LeBron James. You're not that. So you can't compare your salary to the NBA, which draws tons of people, which has more guys, more compact talent. It's a totally different sport. That's kinetic in its own very different way from tennis, and it draws its own ridiculous amount of revenue because of its own unique mixture of intensity, of talent, of competition, and of just high performance. And you can't always get that same thing in tennis. Nobody's going to be able to dunk a tennis ball, nobody's going to be able to steal a tennis ball and then go for a 3-point shot over the tennis net. Like, it's different. So you guys need to stop. You need to, like, let the NBA go, because it's a totally different dynamic, and Roger, I feel like you've handled this with a lot of class, and I'm sure that, some things I said, like, I'm an outsider, I don't know fully all of the inner workings, but I do understand. I really do feel that men should be paid more. And when I say more, I mean they should get a pay increase, and but don't. The thing is that you don't want to take away. You don't want to ask for the women's pay to be decreased, because they're paying for it's not like women are getting a discount on airfare, getting discount on coaches, discount on medical, discount on the trainer, discount on the nutritionist, and that they're only playing 4 matches a season, so you can't sit up here and go, oh, look at the NBA and the WNBA. Well, last time I checked, the WNBA came way after the NBA and only runs for the summertime. So women get paid, I don't know, $40,000 to $50,000 there, and then the guys in the NBA, like the ones who sit on the bench, some of them get paid, I believe, anywhere from $100,000 up to $32 million. Like, the players make that much. So some of you tennis guys are making the same amount and more, you know. But sorry, I didn't really. Well, I guess I shouldn't apologize, but I am an outsider. I don't want this to be confused as me trashing the men, because I love men's tennis, and I don't want this to be confused as disregarding the struggle that men's tennis does endure, because first of all, it is a long season. Secondly, you guys should definitely be making more money. More money should be paid out than just 13% of profits. And I do give props to Wimbledon for actually paying people in the early who exit the earlier round. So Gilles Simon, I guess you benefited from the fact that Wimbledon raised the pay of people who exited the early rounds, because didn't you just exit out the second round? You know, for you to sit up there, I'm sorry, like, Roger, but Gilles Simon, if he came up there and was a man about it, it would have been okay, and not try to be some guy who's just, you know, trying to get points in the men's locker room, you know, and look like a fool, and then came back and said, oh no, I don't feel like Maria Sharapova should be getting paid less than me. Yeah, but you should have kept your mouth shut. You should have gone to the ATP instead of talking about decreasing the women's salary. And I will say this, on the women's side, women, I think the reason why you kind of open yourself up to this mess from the men is that women's tennis has been like so inconsistent, you know, outside of Serena Williams. But, you know, I know Serena's been off tour. She hasn't always been able to play, but excuse me, she had a sister who was murdered. You know, and she had sickness, you know, she was very sick last year, and Venus was also very sick, you know, and I mean, they had periods of time where they were off, but those women, outside of those women, no one else has been really that consistent, you know. You had 1 year where, what was it, Yankovic was #1 in the world for a minute, and then oh my gosh, from Russia, you know, and they're like these girls. These are talented girls. And sidebar, Yankovic, where the hell have you been? Like, girl, I am so disappointed in you. You are so ridiculously talented, man. Ridiculously talented. Sick. Where are you? Where are you? Seriously. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going all off. I'm going to let this thing run to 40, and then I'm going to shut it off no matter what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I could talk about tennis and ramble on forever. But I think for the men, you know, listen, I know I probably pissed a ton of you off. You know, I know you feel like the women are making more money because they're able to do doubles and stuff like that. But if that's the case, you don't want to play 5 sets, don't tell the women to play 5 sets. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not, and nobody's going to sit down and watch the women play 5 sets. Just kill that noise. That's not going to work. It's just not. 3 sets and that's it. The best of 2 to 3. And that's it. Nobody's going to sit down and watch 5 sets for women, okay? You know, we know our dynamic, and we know your dynamic, you know? And we give you credit there. But if you don't want to play 5 sets, Gilles Simon, then you ask to not play 5 sets. You don't trash the women, okay? You don't trash the women. Because, again, I missed this point. But, again, if it weren't for the women and it was only a men's sport in tennis, you wouldn't be getting any TV coverage. Men's tennis wouldn't be getting any TV coverage because it would just be a focus on the top 5 to 10 people. It would be Murray, who's above Murray? Nadal, Djokovic, Federer. It would be the real hard focus on those guys. Tsonga, Monfils, Marty Fish or whatever, like this top 10 guys, Del Potro, Berdych, you know. It wouldn't be a Gilles Simon. Because nobody's going to sit down and watch TV. Like, where do you think people are going to draw money from to be able to pull in just the ratings? I hope you don't think that Wimbledon just is able to probably make money off of just ticket sales. I mean, I know the ticket sales get high and stuff like that, but that's for Federer, and that's for Nadal and Murray. You know, that's not for a Gilles Simon. You know, and the fact that the men's ticket is 15 quid or pounds more than the women's, I don't really think that's a big deal. I feel like they can just raise that or lower your ticket price, and the women would still in general get you know, still bring in the same amount of money. I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh, you know, I gotta pay $15 more to see Serena Williams. No. And I get it. I totally get it. I get that you guys deserve more money, and you do. And I get that. But just don't try to don't be a coward about it and decrease the women's salary. Like, just try to increase your salary. Don't try to decrease the women's salary, because again, if the top women players weren't there, you wouldn't have any TV coverage, and that's just it. It'd be Federer and Nadal coverage, and since people would only want to watch those matches between the top 5 guys, there'd be no room for any. No one would buy a contract, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, you just need to really check yourself and be a little bit more respectful. And I totally get, you know, I respect the fact that you guys are going through a lot and you deserve more pay. So I don't want you to think that I'm not acknowledging that, but I'm just saying. All right, Federer, I'm so sorry to, like, leak this all into your video. Congratulations with everything. Yeah. And, yeah, we'll talk to you. I mean, if I think of anything else, I'll make another video. But until then, you know, I'll talk to you in about a week or so. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.